Did you know there's a few common things you can do with your filler rod hand that can make all the difference to get you better looking TIG welds? When it comes to your filler rod hand, there's definitely a few things that can ruin your welds. Holding your filler material is always awkward, especially if you're new at it. Trying to practice welding by itself, in combination with a new variable of introducing a filler rod, gives you a lot of extra things to pay attention to. First up, here's one of the most common things that can happen. What's going to happen to somebody when they're first figuring this out is their filler rod hand is going to begin to creep towards the weld area. Now, when this begins to happen, there's a couple different things that can give you problems. The first one, obviously, as your hand gets closer to the weld zone, you're going to burn your fingertips. It's a very common thing for a beginner to have the fingers on their gloves burned on their filler rod hand. And this all comes from one of the most common things that somebody forgets to do, and that is advancing the filler rod. Everybody holds their filler material slightly different. You can see how I am holding it here, however. Whatever grip I have chosen, I am remaining comfortable. And I'm also holding it with a relatively loose grip. In doing so, I'm making sure that I stay as comfortable as possible. This is going to help me to feed the filler material as adequately as I need, so that as I'm feeding, my hand stays stationary and I can get the filler material into the weld pool as cleanly and efficiently as possible. Holding it loosely and comfortably is also going to help to reduce hand fatigue. There's days when I'm welding at my job 10 hours a day plus. When you're welding this much during the run of a day, you want to do everything you can to keep your hands from getting exhausted. So I definitely encourage you, find a way that's comfortable to hold the filler material. Make sure you can feed it correctly and comfortably. And the second thing that most commonly happens to people is your filler material is going to start to block your vision. When we set up to do a full weld pass, we want to remain as comfortable as possible. And when I'm working with students in my online TIG welding program, being comfortable and being able to see clearly is one of the most important things we go over in that program. If you're welding and your hand starts to creep towards your weld area, you're going to lose one of the most important variables that we need for every weld we do. And that is the ability to see clearly. Once again, keeping your hand comfortable, as well as feeding from a position that is out of your way. These small things are going to help you get the best results possible. One thing I always recommend doing is to get comfortable with your hand clearly out of the way for the end of your pass. Not the beginning. If you're comfortable for the beginning of your pass, so that by the time you weld across your weld path, you're going to be advancing towards your filler material hand. And once again, as we get closer, that hand's going to be in your way. Get set up like I am here. My filler hand is completely clear of my vision. And another thing that you'll notice is I am feeding along the weld path that I will be traveling. So filler material lengthwise to the direction I'm traveling. At this point, you can see how cleanly and efficiently I'm dipping each time I put the filler material into the weld pool. Being able to see clearly, as well as remaining comfortable, is going to make your practice time much easier. Hit the link in the description below to my website if you're interested in my program or me helping you get going with TIG welding. If you enjoyed the video today, go out and do a random act of kindness for a stranger. For Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name is Dusty. Fill and chill. We will talk soon. Peace.